Hi, this is Quinn, and welcome to Quintech. Thank you for coming back for another edition of Quintech Retro, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my Sega Saturn again. My first video, I just showed off that I held on to all these boxes from way back in the day, probably 97 or 98, and I still have them. And in this video, I'm going to be opening up these boxes and showing you what's inside them. So, in this video, I'm going to show off all my console and all my peripherals and my controllers and everything else that comes with it. But that's not all I'm showing. I'm also showing off whatever came in the box, which could be a warranty card or like a flyer that could show off new games that were about to come out back then. I mean, they're not new now. They came out back in 96 or 97. So I'm going to show those, and I'm going to show off all those things that I pulled out of the box. And, well, I guess that's pretty much it. But I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of a walk down memory lane for me, definitely, and maybe for you, you can walk with me down memory lane. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'm enjoying myself, and I like showing this stuff to you. I like making new videos. I hope you come back to my next edition of Quintech Retro, and thank you for coming along this time, and you take care. And without further ado, let's go on with my latest video. Alright, take care. So, this is my Sega Saturn that I bought back in, I think it was 1997. It originally came out in 1995, but I bought it used because they were quite expensive. I think it was $400, yeah, $399, because that infamous launch of the PlayStation, the guy came up, he came up to the mic, he said, $299, and then he just, like, dropped the mic. So he was like, our system is $100 cheaper than Sega's system, and then he just walked off. And a lot of, I love the Sega Saturn. I love the Sega Saturn. However, apparently it used all these different chipsets for different, for the video and this and that and the other, and it was really hard to program for developers to develop games. So a lot of the developers, either they made games that didn't really use all the capabilities of the Sega Saturn, or they just dropped the Sega Saturn because the PlayStation was out, and then shortly after that the Nintendo 64 came out, and it was a lot easier to develop for these other systems, so they abandoned the Sega Saturn and moved on. So, anyway, I did an overview a couple months back. I wanted to show you a little bit more of this system that I have, the Sega Saturn. So, first of all, I kind of want to show you the little box art. So it shows little screenshots of all these games. Virtua Fighter 2, Tomb Raider, Guardian Heroes, Wing Arms, Knights, Clockwork Knight 2, Bug 2, TOO, exclamation point, and Wipeout. And then on this side, they were really trying to push all the games you could play on this system. Daytona USA, Sega Sports. So these are all the sports games on this side. Daytona USA, Worldwide Soccer 2, World Series Baseball 2, NFL 97. 97. So this must have been the 1996 packaging, or maybe the 1997 packaging. NHL, 96. NHL Power Play 96. Sega Rally Championship, NBA Action, and Manx TT. This side shows a lot of the peripherals you could get. The standard controller, the Virtuous Stick, which I have, the Arcade Racer, the Stunner, which I have, the backup cartridge, the 6-player expansion to go from 2 control plug up to 6 control plug up, and the mission stick. And what's on this side? We've got Mr. Bones, Legend of Oasis, Battle Arena Toshinden Remix, Gun Griffin, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Panzer Dragoon 2, Zui, Die Hard Trilogy, and Night Warriors. Okay, so this packaging probably came out in 1996, even though the original system came out in 95. So, okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't have my original controllers. I used to have 2 of these. I don't know what happened to them. I moved out of my house about 3 years ago, and some people were helping me, and some stuff got lost in the shuffle. So, but I do have the original composite cable that still works. And I don't think I ever used this, but it came with my system. This is the RF. They were still using these in 1996. If you had an older TV that didn't have a composite plug-in, they had an RF, the Sega Rf Unit. So basically, this end, it's like your coax that plugged into the back of your TV. This end plugged into the back of your Sega Saturn. And it had a pass-through, so you could plug either your TV antenna or your cable. You could plug into here and it could pass through. And it even still has this channel select between, and this, channels 3 or 4. The older ones from like the Atari era were channels 2 or 3. This one is using channels 3 or 4. So it's got this little switch. So this came with a sampler CD. I don't have that anymore. I guess that fit into this little slot here. I don't have the sampler CD. That was basically like a bunch of demos or something. So these fold out, that folds out. And I do have like pretty much all the original packaging. And here's your Sega Saturn. And it came in this box, in this bag. So you got the bag. So yes, I may have flubbed a little bit that I didn't have my original controllers, but I do still have the system. Here it is. And it's very dirty. I didn't clean it, but this is it. It's got your power, your reset, and open, so you can open it up. It has this cartridge slot. You don't play games with the cartridge slot. It gave you a lot of different functions. You could have you could back up your saves. It had built-in save ability, but it was very minimal memory. So it was good to have a backup memory cartridge so you could copy your saved memory to the backup memory. And then you also had RAM upgrades. They had the 1 megabyte, then they had the 2 megabyte, and then they had the 4 megabyte. And then I have, which somehow has gone missing, I can't find it right now, the Action Replay Plus, which 4-in-1, which the 4 functions were, 1 was it's the backup memory, 2 was it's the 4 megabytes of upgraded memory, 3 was, what was 3? Oh, it allowed you to play import games. And what was the 4th function of it? There was a 4th function. They did call it the 4-in-1 for a reason. There was a 4th function it had. However, I don't remember what it was. And I do still have the cover for this. It's somewhere around here. I saw it recently. But this is where you put the battery for your backup memory. And there was a special device. It was basically only released in Japan. It was an MPEG decoder. So you could play videos through this. If you had the MPEG decoder, you could play VCDs, basically. Video CDs. That was a big thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I even had a couple of those back in the day. I never played them on here because I didn't have the MPEG decoder. And then you have your AV out, or no, this, what is this? Your communication connector. I never use this, but I guess this is kind of like your serial out on the Dreamcast. This is your AV out and your power in. So, and I still have, like I say, I have this original box, and I have the original stuff that came packed in with it. It came with this little pamphlet to try to sell you other stuff. It shows you like different things you could get. The 6-player connector for all your sports games. The arcade racer steering wheel and some racing games. The backup cart. And yeah, that shows a bunch of like mostly RPGs that you would need a lot of backup save game memory for. And the arcade stick. And this shows a bunch of fighting games that you would want to have an arcade stick for. And then again, the mission stick. This is for like flight, like a flight stick for wing arms, for flight simulators. The stunner for all your shooter games, gun shooter games, and the 3D control pad, and different games that would use the 3D control pad. And some of them are racers, like Daytona USA. Knights was like, that was basically the original Knights release came with one of these controllers, because this was the controller you're supposed to use for it, because it has the analog. And if you look at it, you know, I showed the Dreamcast off before. The Dreamcast controller was obviously based or highly, the 3D control pad, it was highly influenced by the design of this controller. And it has an analog stick, your D-pad, it's got the 6 buttons, but it's got a switch there to switch between analog and digital. And then, yeah, your Sega Saturn peripherals pamphlet. Got your registration card, which apparently I never filled out. I guess I could send it off now, but I don't think they're still there in Redwood City, California. You got your important safety instructions. Oh, shoot. These are stickers. I didn't even know this came with stickers. I still have my original Sega Saturn stickers, so I could stick one of these on my car. I could stick it on the side of my CRT television, which I don't have one right now. And I have the original instruction manual. How many pages is this? 23-page instruction manual. And this is all in English. This isn't like multi-language. This is just the English language one. So, there's that. Okay, I've got the 3D controller. And I have 2 of these. One of them, I don't know where it is right now. It's kind of gone missing. But I do have it. And look, EB, that's the store, the mall store, Electronics Boutique. I got this for free from Electronics Boutique because I bought a reduced price game for Saturn, and they're running a special. If you buy a reduced price game, you get a free peripheral. And I got this. And it has all this information in the back for use exclusively with the Sega Saturn. So you got your 3D control pad, right? And I still have the original plastic that it came in. But it's, like I say, it's very similar to the Sega Dreamcast controller. And it does have, look, I don't know if those are analog. They feel like they might be analog. I think these are analog shoulder buttons. And a weird thing about this, and maybe they had planned on using this for like a later upgrade or ability. So, you know, you got your cord comes out of the back there. But this actually is removable. So they might have had some plans to do something where you unplug the cord and you put something in between and it gave you some upgradable ability. You're probably thinking about a rumble. That's what I'm guessing. But that's an interesting thing. So you got your analog stick, you got your D-pad, start button, your 6 buttons, your 2 shoulder pads, and this you could select between your analog stick, your D-pad, or your analog stick. So they didn't work at the same time. Well, I think if you went to this, both of them worked. But if you're in this mode, only this worked. And this also came with some stuff inside. Sega, A World of Games pamphlet. And this shows a bunch of games. Quake, Sonic Jam, Sonic R. There was never a real Sonic game on the Saturn. Sonic Jam, I think, had like updates of all the 16-bit games, but they're basically the same game. And then it had sort of a 3D little area to go in between the different games. Resident Evil, Duke Nukem 3D, Lost World, Jurassic Park, Saturn Bomberman, Croc, Sega Sports, World Series Baseball, Manx TT, and NBA Action 98. NHL, All-Star Hockey 98, Worldwide Soccer 98, Sega Touring Car Championship. So I must have got this controller in 97 or 98. Because all this stuff says 98. And strategy games. Enemy Zero, Shining the Holy Ark, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Fighters Mega Mix, which you could actually play as Sonic and some of the other Sonic characters on this fighting game. Warcraft 2. Wow, I forgot this. I totally forgot Warcraft 2 was available on the Sega Saturn. Last Bronx, I used to own Last Bronx, this actual release. Sky Target and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. And they had a net link. So I guess you could get online and play all these games. Sega Rally, Saturn Bomberman, Duke Nukem 3D, Daytona USA, Netlink Edition, Virtual On, Sega on a PC. Oh, these games are available on PC. Sonic's 3D Blast, Virtua Fighter 2, Daytona USA Deluxe, Sega Rally Championship, Virtua Fighter 2, and Sonic and Knuckles Collection. So that came inside the packaging for the 3D controller, 3D control pad, and then this came inside the controller. Ooh, get your chance to win a Virtua Fighter 3 arcade machine and more. The product registration card, and sweepstakes official rules. A $10,000 value. Wow. The Virtua Fighter 3 arcade machine. Apparently, the sweepstakes winner was a $10,000 value. Then you have, get up to $15 back when you buy selected Sega Saturn games. $5 off one game, $15 off two games. And I guess you had to buy these certain games, and I guess send in some kind of proof that you bought them. And Sega of America, mail-in coupon, would send you, I guess, a check? I don't know. And then you have the Sega Saturn 3D control pad. Important safety instructions. Do not wrap the cord around your neck and hang from it, or else you might choke to death. It had a warranty. Oh, and a little bit of instructions. Ooh. How to plug your 3D control pad. Switch use. Oh, a whole section on the switch use between the D-pad, the digital pad, and the analog pad. There's like all this information. And they show here, and they show that the connector unit. The connector unit. Why do they call it a connector unit? Weird. And about 3D pad mode. So that all came in this package. What else do I have? I also have the Virtuous Stick. So this was the arcade joystick this I also got for free by buying one game at Electronics Boutique, apparently. And it was only going for $9.99 at the time. I bet originally it was like it's probably $30 or $40 original price, but I got this for free because I bought a reduced price game from Electronics Boutique. So this must have been an older model. It probably sat on the shelf for a long time. And they're like, we got to get rid of these. It's taking up too much shelf space. Yeah, it doesn't have any... There's no regalia on the side. But this box is very similar to the Sega Saturn box. The console. So, the original bag. So here's the controller. And it's got auto fire for every single button. You got your A, B, C, X, Y, Z, left and right. And start. And your like arcade joystick. And I guess you can make every single individually. You can do auto fire, and you can adjust the speed of auto fire with this little slider. And not much else to it. These feet, I don't know. And all that came in this packaging was this little registration. You have the registration card and maintaining your Virtuous Stick. Avoid high temperatures, extreme cold, steam vapor, dust, areas where maybe splashed with water, humidity, slanted, unstable, or vibrating surfaces. And then on the other side, it has operating the stick. So you have the joystick, the continuous speed adjustment button. Well, I call it auto fire. They call it continuous speed adjustment. XYZ, right and left, right shift, ABC, left shift, continuous shooting switch. Oh yeah, the adjustment is the speed, and those are the switches. And then you have your left shift button. And you can switch them on or off. And what else do I have? I'm pretty sure I also got this at Electronics Boutique. Which was Virtua Cop. 1 or 2 player. You would have to... I guess you can play it with the controller somehow. But you would prefer to play it with the stunner. So this comes with the game and the stunner. And what's on the sides of this? Not much. But the rear tells you a lot about the game. 1 or 2 players, shows it pointing at a CRT, which actually, you have to have a CRT to play this game. It doesn't work on modern televisions. You have to have an old CRT television for this to work. So I'm actually in the market to find one, just so I can use this, basically just use this, and just to have the old school experience. So, what comes in this package? It comes with the stunner and the Virtual Cop game, which I did show in the last Saturn video. But there's the game. But this one says not for resale because it comes with the stunner. And you know, this has a little bit of information. Starting up, control device 1, control device 2, insert the CD. So, yes, you can control it with a control pad, but it's much better to use the stunner. The gun adjust screen, this is like basically calibrating your gun. Stunner only. Oh, for gameplay help, call 415-591-PLAY, and you can pay probably $2 an hour to get some gameplay help. All the different stages, power-ups, stages, game over, continue, and credits, and limited warranty. I think my limited warranty is over. And then you have the actual stunner gun, which you have your start button on the side. It's got the trigger, and that's all it has. And it's bright orange so that the police don't think you're carrying a real gun and shoot you in the head. So, pretty simple. Only has those 2 controls, start and the trigger, and your plug. So, that's the peripherals I have for my Sega Saturn. And I hope I come across that Action Replay cartridge soon, because it gives me a lot of functionality, and those cost about $60 or $70 to replace, and I don't have that kind of money for this old ass system. I love the system, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money. I'd rather just emulate it than pay that kind of money. But this is what I have, and I hope you enjoy this content. I will show some playing of games at some point, but not right now because I don't have my cart. If I do play something, it'll probably be using emulation, but I think I have enough content here for a video. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for coming to Quintic Retro. I appreciate you watching my videos, and thank you for enjoying my channel. And come back for the next one. And you have a great night. And I appreciate you, and take care. Alright. Oh, and also in my last video, I forgot to show all of my games. This was sitting on the top on the right, and Virtual Cop was sitting on the top on the left. And I was saying, oh, I don't really like that game. You might have thought I was talking about Virtual Cop, but I wasn't talking about Virtual Cop. I was talking about, and these are all imports, Galaxy Force 2. I don't know why I kept this game. It's a rail shooter. I'm not a big fan of rail shooters. It's part of the Sega Ages collection. It's in Japanese. And I may still be able to play all these games on my actual unit, because I have... Wait. Oh, I forgot about that. And I have this extra disc. I don't have the case for this, but somehow I ended up with this. I think I bought this game from a game store, and they accidentally left this disc in there. Puzzle Bobble 3. Which I was a big fan of Bobble in the arcade, and this is basically the same game. It's just called Puzzle Bobble in Japan, Puzzle Bobble 3. So, Galaxy Force 2, I have this, and it's an on-rails shooter. And I like shooters, like vertical scrolling and horizontal scrolling shooters. Those are some of my favorite types of games. But this is an on-rails shooter. And I'm not that fond of it. It might be worth some money, I don't know. Oh, and what is this? It's got some kind of thing inside of it. I haven't looked inside here in forever. This is probably must be advertising other games. It's all in Japanese, so I have no idea what it's saying. Mega Man, there's Mega Man, or aka Rockman. That looks like Lunar. Yeah, that's Lunar. The guy from Lunar, which I showed in my last video about the PlayStation. So I think there was a Lunar for Sega Saturn, but it was in Japanese, so I couldn't really play it. And Lupin the Third. Yeah, there was. I remember I actually did get a burn copy of the Lunar game. I mean, the Lupin the Third game. Some kind of sexy anime beach volleyball game. Some kind of football, international football, not American football. And something too. I don't know. And that was just inside this instruction manual. What else awaits? control, story, control, start menu, how to play, scene. However, nice packaging, but I'm not too fond of this actual game. So maybe I can sell this for like $100. Who knows? And I can still burn it because I mod chipped my Saturn years ago so I can play burn games. So current collectors might want this game. I mean, there are fans of on-rail shooters. I'm just not a big fan of them. I remember loading this up a few months ago before I started this video series, and I was like, oh, I got this game, Galaxy Force. I held on to it. It's a shooter. And then I loaded it up and I was like, oh, it's an on-rails shooter. Yeah. And it has this bonus CD inside of it. I forgot about that. And this game I like. It's a puzzle game. Then I have X-Men versus Street Fighter. Capcom. Really good game. This game is highly sought after. It's a very it's a good game. You got all your Street Fighter characters, plus you got your X-Men characters in a fighting game. And yes, I have the actual CD. And you've got your case story. It seems like there might be something inside here too. What is in here? Oh, what is in here? This is your warranty card. Your Japanese. I have the original Japanese warranty card. So it's a complete package. Wait, there's something else in here. Oh, it's got like a little spine. This is inside. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was in there. So this must have been marketed to the US market. It has this side that is in English, but I guess if you were from Japan, you could put this one and have it in Japanese on both sides. And this side is in Japanese. This side is in English. If I can get it to focus. But I guess you could put this little sleeve here and make it Japanese on both sides. I didn't know that was in there. I never really looked in it. That's kind of neat. So I'm discovering new things with this stuff I've had for like 25 years. Not quite 25, but 22, 23 years I've had this stuff. And then I have King of Fighters 97, SNK, my favorite fighting game company. This is Capcom. And they make some great fighting games too, and they made the original Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2, and they kind of started the whole fighting genre, but I discovered fighting games from SNK by playing Samurai Showdown. But this is King of Fighters 97. The Japanese side and the English side. So I wonder, does this game also have a little sleeve to make it in Japanese on both sides? I wonder. I've never really looked through this book. It's got some neat anime art. How to play in Japanese. Oh, I thought that was telling you about other games, but this is about this game. It's all about this game, but it's all in Japanese. Oh, this shows you like all the moves for each character, all the special moves for every character. That's neat. I never even looked at this. So it didn't have an extra little sleeve thing, but in the back it is it is advertising other games. Real Bout Special, and that's in Japanese, but I can't read it, but some other games you could buy. And I did have a Real Bout game, and it was actually a Japanese import for Saturn. I think I might have sold that back in the day. I remember having it though. And then this is the one I was talking about. One of the most coveted games on the Sega Saturn. Capcom Generations 2. Capcom Generation 2. This has what is it? It has Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins, and Super Ghosts and Goblins, the Super Nintendo version of Ghosts and Goblins, all on one CD. So it's like, yeah, that's what it is. And I have the original, and I bet this is worth big bucks. I could make a pretty penny off of this if I wanted to sell it. I don't want to sell it, but it has some interesting artwork in there. Telling you about the gameplay, all the different little special weapons. It's in Japanese, I don't understand it, but ooh, what is that? That might be an ad for a different game. I don't know. No, maybe that was the Japanese artwork for the Super Nintendo game. I don't know. Oh, they show a little artwork for each different game. And here's the little upgrades and stuff. And then there's all the different weapons. The option menu. Backup. Save. Continue. It's all in Japanese, but it's still pretty cool. Lost World, Mad Gear, Willow, and the rest is in Japanese kanji. Oh, and these are all different games. They're like, hey, check out these other games. So these are all these other different Capcom games you could get. So, yeah, I also have all this stuff for my Sega Saturn. After all these years, since, I guess, 1997 or 98. Yeah, probably 98. Hell, I might even bought, that might have been a brand new system I bought in 98, because the packaging had, everything was about 97, so it'd probably been sitting on the shelf, and maybe I bought that at Electronics Boutique, and they sold it at a discount because they couldn't sell it. So my Sega Saturn collection. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching my video. Enjoy. Bye.